I am Mukhwana Isaac with the journey through the Bible, and of course here we go through the word of the Lord and we deepen it. We see the teaching of the Catholic Church and how different individuals perceive the word of the Lord. Yesterday we did a little bit of introduction. Today I want us to continue doing introduction and of course do the last part of introduction in this journey through the Bible. Comment, subscribe, you may share, you may give a like, and of course how this program affects your life in one way or the other. We have so many books, yes, and those books, we have novels, we have a number of them. Personally, I have so many books, those I read, and most of the books I have, they touch on the spirituality of someone, the spiritual life. I have other books that I go through just to attain knowledge on different subject matters. But whenever we pick up a book for the first time, we ask ourselves, you see, a number of questions. Such questions: what is it about? What is this book about? Who wrote this book? Yes. When was it written? Why was this book written? We keep asking ourselves a number of questions, and at times we need to ask ourselves similar questions about the Bible. Have you ever asked yourself some of the questions I just posed? Yes. What is it about? What is this Bible about? Who wrote this Bible? Who wrote the first 5 books of the Bible? Who wrote the law books? What about the last book of the Bible? Obviously, you find the writers somewhere, maybe in an introduction. Yes, John, like that. The language, the writer will be, at least the character will be somewhere in the text. But there are things we need to really ask ourselves. We have become used to accepting the Bible as the book of our faith. But of course, in that becoming our book of faith, unless we ask ourselves such questions: what about a Bible? Who wrote this Bible? Where did it come from? And look for the answers, much of the Bible might remain a mystery to us. We might not really understand the intention of the Bible. Like we shall look at the creation accounts. They might remain a mystery to us. That the first creation account talks about a series of days. Creation, that is 6 days. Wow, the second creation account talking about a block. Creation being in a block, either a day, just something one. So unless we keep asking ourselves these questions, these Bible accounts, the Bible might remain a mystery to us. You realize that no author is named at the beginning of the Bible as it's done with other books. Yes, when you pick a novel and you want to read, you will see things fall apart. The writer, Chinua Achebe. Yes, you pick Gulugulu Goes to School, you will see the writer somewhere. Unlike the Bible, it is not with the Bible, no author. Yes, like other book. Now, for many writers talk about the Hebrews contributed to the writing of the various books of the Bible. Like I have here the New Jerusalem Bible. You see, there are so many writers. This brought this. Like when you read the works of the prophets, when you read the book of Prophet Jeremiah, you realize that the works of that prophet continue. You find the works of Prophet Jeremiah in the book of Baruch. Jeremiah was normal, but his works continue. Like I've just said, different Hebrews carried different parts and they participated. This one brought this, the other brought this, the other brought that and that and that until they put it together to form what we have today, to form the present image of the Bible we have. No author is named, like I've said, but each writer had something special to add to his religious knowledge of God. Like when you read the book of the prophet Amos, Amos talks about God and justice. That is his experience. And that is how the knowledge he attained. He talks about God and justice. Justice, God. When it comes to Isaiah, when it comes to Hosea, Hosea talks about God is mercy, God is love. You get a point? And many other writers. Now, this had like little by little, over years, the Hebrews found that these particular writings were the ones which told them about God. The different writings gathered, brought together what he had done for them, bringing them, rescuing them from the Egyptian slavery, and of course the messages which they had gotten. What he had done for them, of course, in the past. I've just given an example of being saved from the Egyptian slavery. They realized that God himself had helped the writers to produce in writing, of course, his own thoughts and plans for man. Yes, that is what we get. That is what we realize here. And so that they put them together in a collection, we shall get to know what led to the writing of the Bible and maybe how things were in the past. That is why after Christ had ascended to heaven and his disciples had preached, remember, there was just scattered truth. Although in the first book of the Bible, the book of Genesis, we are told about the beginning of the world. We know that the people who wrote the stories had not yet been born, of course, at the same time as the world was created. It passed a number of years. The people were born, a number of centuries. Then we see the Bible accounts. There was no one. It is the same with many books of the Bible. They were written sometimes long after the events they described had taken place. For example, I'm basing on this creation account. The first creation account is telling us that the world was created in 6 days. The second account, just a block day. Now, actually, in fact, the first books of the Bible to be written were begun only 1,000 years before the birth of Christ. So, a number of things we needed to learn here when we look at the Bible. What do you perceive? Do you ask yourself a number of questions? What about this book? Where did it come from? Who wrote it? And what have you? By so doing, you'll get to realize some of the biblical facts. Some of the biblical facts are not even written in this Bible, but when you read a number of books, the theological books, you'll get to know exactly what I am talking about. That has just been an introduction, but of course we shall get to the book of Genesis tomorrow. We shall come to draw a number of lessons right from the first chapter of the book of Genesis, what Genesis has for us, what Genesis tells us about the creation of the world. I have been Mukhwana Isaac with a journey through the Bible. I will ask you to subscribe, to comment, to share, and of course like. We shall link up tomorrow with another episode telling us about the first creation account. Be blessed.